and welcome to Nisi's Food Journey, where I explore my DNA through the food of my ancestors. And since St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner, I thought I'd explore my Irish ancestry today. My Irish ancestry comes from my second great-grandmother, Catherine, who moved to Pennsylvania from Ireland in the 1800s. She was my grandmother's grandmother, and they were very, very close. My grandmother Laverne loved telling me about her childhood and all the stories of her favorite Irish grandmother and how much fun she was. But despite this, I did not grow up eating any Irish food. In fact, I didn't have any Irish food at all until I was an adult and I started making it myself, which brings me to today's recipe just in time for St. Patrick's Day, shepherd's pie. Here are the ingredients. We start with ground lamb, which is what makes it a shepherd's pie. If you use ground beef, which is what I normally use, then it's called a cottage pie. Now, I don't always add cheese to my shepherd's pie, but today's special, and it's going to make a nice touch, so I'm adding some Irish cheddar. We do not add peas because we don't like them, but we are adding carrots, onions, and some garlic. For the gravy, we're going to use Worcestershire sauce and some beef broth, and then, of course, potatoes for the topping. I'm going to make my potatoes in the Instant Pot. And I started doing this a little while ago, and once you start making your mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot, you will never stop. It makes your life so much easier. Here are my Yukons, which is my preferred potato. You're going to want to peel them and slice them very small, and then add a little bit of chicken broth to your Instant Pot. Add your lid and make sure the stopper is set to seal. Add the pressure button, push the pressure button to 10 minutes. And that's it. Now it's time to brown the ground lamb. And lamb is a rather fatty meat, so you're going to have to drain it quite often. I'm going to season my lamb with salt and pepper. And that's really about it for the lamb. It's a pretty easy dish to make. After it's browned, I'm going to add my diced onions and my diced carrots. And I'm going to season them with some salt and pepper as I go along. Now I'm going to add my minced garlic. I want to be sure not to burn it though, so I'm going to add it near the end here, right before I start my gravy. My heat is set to about a medium, in between medium low, as to not burn that garlic. Now I'm going to add about a tablespoon or so of flour so I can start the gravy. You don't want too much gravy. You just want to make a little bit of a sauce so it doesn't boil over when you put it in your casserole dish. Now I'm going to add my Worcestershire sauce. Oh, I'd say about a tablespoon and a half or so of Worcestershire. It gives such a nice deep flavor. Now, this next ingredient's a little controversial. I didn't have it out on the table, but I do add a little bit of ketchup. It gives it a nice thickness and a beautiful color. My family's also from Pittsburgh, and we put ketchup in everything, okay? So, a little bit of ketchup. And then the beef broth. Maybe half a cup. And that's about it. You don't want your sauce to be, you don't want it to be too saucy. That's about the consistency you want right there. Okay, now it's time to add to your casserole dish. This is my shepherd's pie bowl. I do make this pretty often, so this is basically the bowl I always use. You're going to want to preheat your oven to about 350, and now let's go check on those mashed potatoes. The steam is releasing, and here's what we need. We need some softened butter, we need the Irish cheddar, and here is my potato smoosher. It's perfect for smooshing your mashed potatoes. I also use it to make guacamole. It'll make your potatoes very, very smooth and very creamy. Once all the pressure is released, you can remove your lid and you're going to see the potatoes inside. Now they're going to need drained, and you're going to want to place them back inside your Instant Pot, which is going to stay warm, by the way. So you can make these well in advance and put them back in the pot and they'll stay warm for hours. It's perfect. Now I'm going to add about half of my shredded Irish cheddar into the potatoes. I'm going to save the other half to put on top of my shepherd's pie later. I'm going to add my softened butter, and I'm going to add a little bit of heavy cream. You can add milk. You're going to want to season with a little bit of salt and pepper, of course. I think I'd already done that at this point. And we're going to smoosh away. Yeah, it's a little bit of work. You get a little bit of a workout, but I think this is the best way to make mashed potatoes. They're going to turn out very, very creamy. Just a couple minutes later, and that's what you have right there. Perfectly mashed potatoes every single time. And like I said, you could put the lid back on and keep them in this Instant Pot, and they'll stay warm. Now, what you want to do here is you want to dollop your potatoes on top of your meat. You don't want the meat and the potatoes to combine. You want to be very careful and gentle here. Once you've dolloped all your potatoes on top of your meat, you're going to be very gentle here so that the meat doesn't come up over. That's my dog running in the room. You don't want the meat to come up over the potatoes. So this is a very gentle step right here. Make sure it's smooth. And now comes the fork. You just want to, and now I don't even know why I did this because I ended up covering it with cheese so you couldn't see it. But like I said, I normally don't cover my pie with cheese. I just did this because it was a holiday and I thought it'd be nice to have the cheese. I only do this maybe once a year, but normally this is where I end. I do this part and then I add the paprika, which I do now. I like to put a little paprika on there. It gives it a beautiful color. It gives a little bit of flavor too. And my grandmother, she put paprika on everything, just like she put ketchup on everything. But today we are going to add that Irish cheddar on top. What's left of that Irish cheddar. Just going to put a little bit of that cheddar on, and then we're going to be very gentle again and smooth it over top. And then we're going to put it in the oven at 350. And you're going to want to bake it for about 30 minutes. And here you go. Here's your final result. The hardest part is going to be, you're going to have to wait to eat that thing. You can't just eat it when it comes out of the oven. First of all, it's too hot, but it really needs to set. So 10 minutes, at least 10 minutes. I like to garnish with a little bit of chives or some parsley. Oh, shepherd's pie. Look at that. It's easy to make. It's the ultimate comfort food. It's something everyone in the house can enjoy year-round and not just on St. Patrick's Day. Now, I have to admit, it's not the easiest or prettiest thing to serve. I find serving it in a bowl works best, especially after it rests. Otherwise, you're going to end up with shepherd's pie soup. So you really do want to let it rest. But now I'm going to let the smallest taste tester in the house, Brady, come, and we're going to see what he thinks of this shepherd's pie. Oh, look at that. This tasted so good. It was probably the best one I've ever made. What do you think, Brady? Oh, yep, the tongue's out. He definitely approves. Not that he could actually eat it. Oh, yes. He's sitting right next to me, wanting some, I can tell. Well, thank you for joining me on my Irish food journey. I hope you can make this. I hope you enjoy it. It's the easiest thing in the world to make. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a subscribe. Hit that little bell icon so that you can be notified of my future food journeys.